It's been a couple days after the first lockout where everybody got rank 14. Well, not quite everybody, I am still not rank 14. I'm working on it, okay? I am 2 weeks away. I still got my 200, I'm gonna be 200 spec until then, but this is the first week where rank 14 weapons are available. The people that grinded from day one, they finally got it, and now we finally got good data on how much impact they had on the game. Because it is one thing to show you guys, okay, this weapon is this much more damage, it is this much more stats, whatever, and it is something else to show you the actual impact in a raid. First of all, I'm gonna show you our first raid, because this week is also, coincidentally, the first week where we also got the Soul Gurub buff. As you guys know, the Spirit of the Sandalari. You know what, I'm gonna have to unboon and reset my buffs anyway, might as well. This hurts, wasting all these buffs, but I gotta start over anyway. Okay, 10% movement speed and 15% stats. This is of course a huge part of the new damage that we're gonna see in the logs. I cannot overstate how important this buff is, okay? 15% more stats, that means 15% more strength, that's attack power, 15% more agility, that's crit, and something that we sometimes forget, 15% more stamina. Now, how is that gonna affect your damage? Well, you need less healers, because every warrior now with full PvP gear is tanky as heck, okay? Like, for a reference, my warrior in the raid, I had 7600 HP. Like, that is more or less the HP of a full tier 2 tank a couple weeks ago, right? Like, if I wanted to tank a raid, I probably could. Like, I am definitely tanky enough. I would have to get like a good tanking weapon, and yeah, I could probably do it just fine, honestly. And if every freaking DPS warrior is tanky as a tank, well, that means that trash is nowhere nearly as scary, right? You can take a lot more risks, you can cleave a lot more, you can go in a lot more. The healers gotta work less hard, so you can take less healers, period. Extra tankiness is something that people underestimate, but it helps your speed on the clears a lot. You know, every time somebody doesn't die, instead of dying, that's world buffs on them that they do not lose, and that's more damage too, right? So, stamina, safety in general is actually very valuable, so having everybody on PvP gear trivializes that aspect of the game a lot too. But let's show you my raid, my clear. Okay, I am gonna be skipping over, but I wanna show you something. So we decided to do a little bit of a speedrun, not quite a speedrun, right? We are not doing any weird cheeses like that, we are not doing any weird skips. You can do skips through Firemaw's grades and stupid stuff like that. We didn't do any of that, right? We just went in and we wanted to clear as quickly as possible by a normal raid, you know, just pushing ourselves a little, see what we can do. That's kinda the goal of this week. And we had, I think, if I recall correctly, 5 full rank 14 warriors in this raid. I am not one of them, I am 2 weeks away. Some people in there are also like 2 weeks or a single week away. Not everybody is rank 14 yet, everybody is very close, but not everybody is rank 14 yet. I am inspecting a warrior right here, you can see that guy rank 14, you double rank 14 access for all the orcs. It is freaking huge, obviously. But anyway, I want to show you the speed at which we clear bosses. And I will also show you some of the trash pools, and then we're gonna go look at the statistics for the entire world in Warcraft logs. But okay, so we start with Razorgore. As you can imagine, Razorgore was already pretty easy, and now we just obliterate the trash. Like, you see me doing nothing, the trash dies in like a global, okay? Let's look at the mob spawning right there. It spawned right there on the back, dead. I do not, like, if I do not get a charge off, the mob instantly dies. Like, you look at that mob, there you go, like, the mobs die faster than they can spawn, basically. So people get bored and they go forward to kill them a little faster. That's not always a good idea, right? Like, if you're alone and you pull aggro, you can die. But once again, everybody is tankier than a tank in like raiding gear, right? Like, everybody's, or these people is rank 14 or 13 at least. So if we pull aggro on a mob, if we don't really care, right? We're freaking tanky as hell, we are not gonna die. And we know that, and that's why people go ahead and kill mobs out there. And this is something that you couldn't do if you didn't have rank 14 gear. If we were in the old ranking system, right? Where everybody was wearing a bunch of leather and mail items, we couldn't do this. We could not do this. So that's also another aspect of rank 14 that makes the raid a lot easier. And we're gonna skip into Razorgore itself. Right here, we do not pop any cooldowns on Razorgore because we got this policy that we just kill Razorgore and go straight to Vaelastrasz, and you need every cooldown for Vaelastrasz, right? It is very important. We are not allowed to pop Death Wish on Razorgore, which is fine, but keep that in mind, okay? We are missing 20% damage, okay? This is without 20% extra damage, and you can already see that people without cooldowns are doing like 600 DPS. Like, I actually got lucky with a proc in here. I got like a fat crit, and you saw me right there. I jumped all the way up. I am 200 spec, okay? I am not supposed to do a lot of damage yet. But yeah, that was actually a 95 parse I got in that fight. But let's look at the actual speed of that kill. Okay, as you can see right here in the logs, that took 20 seconds. That was a 20-second kill without Death Wish. Not a single warrior in that fight used Death Wish, okay? That's without cooldowns. Yeah, that's pretty bonkers. Okay, so Vaelastrasz, as I told you, we're gonna pop every cooldown except Recklessness, because we are gonna... the thing about now that we got all this gear, we can do Firemaw in a single phase, and that's very important. But let's go into Vaelastrasz for a minute, okay? We are not gonna pop Recklessness here, we are only gonna pop Death Wish and Flask, of course, Flask, 75 strength, there we go. And if I recall correctly on this fight, I forgot to do Heroic Strike again. You do not really use Heroic Strike ever almost as two-handers, but in Vaelastrasz you got Infinite Rage, right? So you're supposed to use it, and I barely used Heroic Strike. I forgot this entire fight, so that messed up my damage. I think I got like 1600 DPS, but if you look at Matiorc, that guy is not even rank 14. 2200 DPS, you look at Surib, right? Like that guy is rank 14, 2200 DPS too. That is easily like twice the amount of DPS we're supposed to have in a world without rank 14 gear, right? It is absolutely bonkers. And that Vaelastrasz kill took us... I think it is not even my personal best. Let's take a look at that. May the 6th. Okay, that was a 30-second kill. We didn't pop Recklessness, right? We usually do pop Recklessness, but we were trying a different strat with Firemaw. So we basically killed Vaelastrasz the same speed as if we were popping Recklessness the entire time. So in a way you can look at it that way, that rank 14 weapons are as good as Recklessness, as a freaking insane cooldown, like guaranteed crits for 15 seconds. That's pretty bonkers as well. I imagine if we were to pop Recklessness for the memes, we don't have to, right? It's pointless, but if we wanted to pop Recklessness on Bell for the memes, we could probably get it down to like a 20-25 second kill easily. Extremely short fights, as you can imagine, but very well, okay? Like the suppression room is not that interesting because we didn't do any of the fancy skips, but we do like the entire pool now, no CCs, only one kiter, and everything else we just do it straight up, cleaving everything down. Just look at how fast everything dies. Okay, that's when everybody gets all their sandals in, and there we go. Like you still got the buff from Vaelastrasz, right? So you got Infinite Rage, you gotta keep that in mind, and everybody's doing like 2k DPS without any cooldowns just because of all the cleaving damage. It's super bonkers. And there you go, like this is one of the most annoying packs in the game, one of the most annoying trash packs in the raid. I would say the fourth most annoying trash in the raid, and yeah, that was done in like probably 30 seconds as well. The entire trash was dead, which is ironic, right? It takes us longer to kill the trash than it takes us to kill a boss, right? Like a single trash pack takes as long as the bosses now because we got so much freaking damage. The suppression room is not that interesting. If I recall correctly, we had a rogue make a mistake at one point and he deactivated a suppression a little too early, and that got us slowed, so that kinda sucked. But as you can imagine, we barely go down in HP at all because we are super tanky and we kill the mobs really fast. There you go, we got slowed right here, that was a mistake. But aside from that, super smooth, right? We just cleave everything down, zero concern. And now this is a boss that I am terrified of, okay? Broodlord Lashlayer is actually a boss that I am very scared of. No matter how much gear you got, if you pull aggro, you can kill everybody, right? Like, I never want to be the guy that pulls aggro. I would rather suck in that fight than pull aggro and kill everybody. You know, I am never gonna hear the end of it if I am the guy that does it, you know, like, just because I am me, okay? Like, the Dwarf Lord, I don't want to summon the Wrath of the Dwarf Lord, okay? I want to leave, but Dwarf Lord is gonna pull Broodlord right here, and he's gonna pop all his cooldowns, which is very scary, right? He's popping Death Wish, and I think he's also popping Wreck in here, so like, he has no armor and like taking extra damage. The healers are pumping him super hard, and we actually get like a trash pull accidentally at one point. I think everybody's a little scared scared of doing too much damage on this guy, and our damage is not that insane in this fight. Like, it's really not a DPS check, it's a threat problem, a threat check, really. We lost one guy. If I recall correctly, this warrior threater was the only death we had in that run, which sucks because he was a rank 14 one, so that was a shame, right? Like, we lost some damage. Once again, like, the tankiness and why the tankiness is important. Without wall buffs, he's gonna do, like, I don't know, at least 30% less damage. It adds up, right? If you got like 5 people that lose their buffs, you lost an entire person worth of damage. That sucks. But either way, like, these pulls are always very scary. You know, you get unlucky, you die. Like, I go in and get some clips off, you know, for memes. Probably shouldn't do it, but I am a bit of a jerk. We are gonna go straight into Firemaw. This is the first time we attempted, and this is why we saved Recklessness for Firemaw, guys. This is the first time we are gonna attempt a one-phase Firemaw, which I know a lot of people do now, but like for us it was a first time. You know, we put a couple fire resistance pieces, like Onyxia Cloak, whatever you got in hand, and we gotta kill Firemaw before we get like 10 stacks or we freaking die. So there comes Dwarf Lord with the Firemaw, and we got no time to waste. We pop every single cooldown. Flask, there goes Death Wish, there goes everything, Recklessness. I actually forgot my Death Wish. I shouldn't have popped Death Wish on Broodlord, probably. That was a mistake. But if we get this right, if we do not die on this, like, our parses are gonna be insane because there is no running around and skipping the charges, right? And yeah, some people get scared and they run out. Some other people stay. Like, keep in mind, in the comms, Dwarf Lord was screaming like, pump the boss, pump the boss, pump. He intended us to stay, right? Like, that was just like muscle memory, I think. Some people were scared of dying or whatever. Like, this is the first time we did this strat, right? So people were confused. But we get into the execute phase and you're gonna see like people's damage fly ahead. Oh yeah. It's a shame I didn't have Death Wish. This could have been a 99 probably. I got 1000 DPS right there. Seb was the top DPS, 1400 DPS. And this Firemaw kill, okay, look at this speed. 53 seconds. I got a 90 parse, and once again, if I had Death Wish, you know, 20% more damage, that could have probably been like a 95 at least, so that kinda sucks. Hopefully next week we can get it again. But if we compare it to a second best week, right, we go from 1 minute and 7 seconds to 53, so we shaved off an entire like 15 seconds off of this, and we are probably gonna make it even faster now because, once again, looking at the video, some people were still trying to do the old strat, they got confused, and that like lost us a lot of uptime, right? Like, that probably is like 10 more seconds of damage that we can skip if those people do not run away. So that's gonna be huge. One thing you gotta keep in mind about Firemaw, we all got that buff from Ubers. If you look at this thingy right here, fire protection, that's the buff from the mind control in Ubers. It is like 70 fire resistance. You absolutely wanna get 70 fire resistance for this strat, okay? Like, a single resist is like 1 less charge, and that really adds up. So some people were swapping into fire res gear. You know, there is some tier 1 pieces you can put on and stuff like that. But this strat without the Ubers buff would be a lot harder, obviously. So keep that in mind. It is not for everybody. Let me tell you, it is a lot more fun to do it this way. I'm gonna skip over this trash. Okay, this trash is very scary, but once again, everybody's on PvP gear. I do not think we lost anybody here, thankfully. Like, you know how they make the tank spin and you get clipped and you die? Pretty scary, but luckily that didn't happen. The Soul Gurub buff helps a lot. Like, I cannot understate, 15% extra HP is a big deal. And then you got the techie pools. Okay, I'm gonna skip over this. Like, that's very technical, but as a warrior, you just suck, throw dynamite. There is not a lot you can do. And now we go to Ebonroc, and Ebonroc is gonna get pumped with all the cooldowns, and then we are gonna do what's the other guy? Flamegor. Flamegor is not gonna have every cooldown, so yeah, this is gonna be kinda slow, which is fine. Honestly, I couldn't feel the buff in Chromagus. Like, the entire more damage we got in Chromagus, I couldn't really feel it yet. This is very unfortunate. Actually, I got a blue parse on this one because I got the stone twice and I only had 1 set of sand, right? So I couldn't dispel it. So that screwed me over. That's a shame. That's RNG, it happens. You can buy sand in the auction house, actually, if you're a tryhard. You know, if you really want to cheese it, that's what you gotta do. But you know, the fight, you hide, you go back, you hide, you go back. And now Nefarian, okay? This is the interesting one. If I recall correctly, we actually got a warrior class call in this fight, and thankfully Dwarf Lord now he has a Thunder Fury. Okay, he got the Thunder Fury like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. The problem with the Warrior class call is not really the tankiness, it's a problem, right? Because you are forced into Berserker stance and you are less tanky, that is a problem. But the big problem is the threat, because you are forced to go to shield and you do not get the threat modifier from defensive stance. Everybody's buffed up, everybody got rank 14 weapons, and he's gonna get the class call. That's very scary. Like, people are gonna pull aggro if they are not careful, right? That wasn't the case for me. I was not that close on the threat meter, but some people came in very close. We start DPS in Nefarian. I also made a mistake in this one. I popped my flask way too early. Like, if I waited like 15 seconds, I would have gotten a way better parse. That's a shame. You know, I didn't get all my cooldowns synchronized. And the fight is so freaking fast, man. Like, we're gonna look at the kill time in a second here. I forgot to put a chronometer in my speedrun. Cooldown, okay, I just dropped a dynamite in there because I was too far. That was also a mistake on my part. I didn't go to the spawn of the ads soon enough, and I realized I wasn't gonna get a zapper in time. They were gonna die before that, so I just threw a dynamite at it. Not ideal. I could have thrown a holy water that actually does more damage, but panicked, you know, panicked once again. Bad reaction on my part, no excuse for that one. And we go into the execute phase, and you see all the people getting their DPS inflated by the ads, and there you go, like 1500 DPS pretty consistently on the rank 14 people in my guild. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, because you look at Vaelastrasz or other fights and they were doing more DPS. Yes, but Nefarian is a lot longer though. And a longer fight means less cooldown uptime, so that's actually super impressive. And we're gonna look at the kill time in Nefarian. This is actually the most dramatic out of them all. Nefarian went from a 157 to a 137, okay? So we shaved off 20 seconds clean off in that fight in a single lockout. That's bonkers. If you look at my bad parses, I kept dying every single raid. I think this is the first time, like the second to last lockout, that I actually got my buffs in order. I didn't lose my buffs in this one, for real. I kept losing my buffs, you know. This is the first time I actually got a decent parse in Nefarian, period. Thankfully, I fixed my numbers now. That's cool. But yes, overall, we are killing bosses 17% faster in a single lockout overnight. That almost matches up perfectly with the 15% more stats. You know, that makes kinda sense. Rank 14 weapons are gonna kick in even harder next week, and next week after that I'm gonna get mine, you know. So what is the clear we got? We were doing a speedrun. What is the speedrun looking like? Let's go to the rankings. We got a final time of 36 and 31 seconds. So we cleared all of Blackwing Lair in 36 minutes, and we got a rank of 206 in the world. It was actually 175, but apparently like 25 more guilds went ahead of us in these couple of days, so we don't know what rank we're gonna get after the end of the week. But without any cheeses, just a normal clear, I think that is very impressive, and God only knows what we're gonna get next week. It's gonna be even faster. You can see we are running quite a lot more healers and less warriors than a lot of the speedrunning guilds are taking, so we are never gonna get a good rank, right? We're gonna have to bench people and change the composition. That's not gonna happen for a speedrun. Like, we are not that kind of guild. But this is the impact of rank 14, and yes, the Soul Corrupt buff. We go from a 45, I think it was our best clear before that. Can we see that? Is there a way to see that? Okay, if you can see right here, our second best clear was 44 minutes. So we shaved almost a clean 10 minutes of the raid, pretty much. Now, there are some impressive stuff right here. Okay, remember, the Alliance has a huge advantage on the Horde for speedrunning. That's never gonna change. Paladins are broken. But this week in the Alliance, there is a Chinese guild that got an 18 freaking minutes Blackwing Lair. And if you look at them, okay, like the top of the top, okay, their previous speedrun attempt was 30 minutes. It's all in Chinese. I am having a very hard time telling what it means, okay? But yeah, so these guys went down like 12 minutes in the raid, and in a extremely optimized already raid. Now, of course, at the highest level, I think the Soul Corrupt buff is more important even, because if you're in a normal raid, right, like I would say we're pretty good. I would say we clear very fast, but we are not a speedrunning guild. There is a lot of downtime, you know, like waiting for trash, pulling trash, whatever. These guys are pretty much running the entire time, right? Like they are never stopping for anything. In the middle of a pool, they are still dragging the mobs with them so they can get ahead on the clear, right? That's what you do in a speedrun. I think that 10% extra movement speed from Sol Gurub is actually a big deal for those people. For us it's nice, right? It's convenient, it's good, but for them it is actually a big deal. And I know it doesn't sound like a big deal to lose 12 minutes in a run, but when your run is already 30 minutes, that is a third, okay? That's 33% faster that they are going. But yes, I wanted to show you all of these guys, and I am sure there is gonna be a bigger breakdown somewhere. I am not a watching logs person. Somebody told me the other day, like, do you wanna see my logs? Help me out. And I'm like, bro, I got no idea how to read this website, okay? I tried, for the love of God, I tried. I understand it less every single time. But I think at this stage of the game, being able to get a 36-minute Blackwing Lair clear anyway is absolutely bonkers. And this would not be possible without the new ranking system. So if you want to have that discussion about balance and like if the rank 14 system is trivializing the game, okay, I think I got enough people mad this week. I am not gonna touch that thing. I am not gonna kick that hornet's nest today. But here you go. Yeah, this is what it does. Should every warrior be tankier than a tank in Classic 2019? Should every warrior have twice the DPS it is supposed to have in 2019, back when ranking was a very hard thing to obtain? Maybe. That's gonna be up to you to decide. Subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.